Hello everybody, Corey here, back with the trades and holdings for Friday, April 12th for ULTY. You can see on the screen here, these are the trades done as far as, let's start here. I forgot, I did this like an hour ago. Let's go through the ones that expired worthless. Like we've done before, just so you can get an idea of how many of these, right, have expired worthless. So we have Clean Spark here, the short calls for Clean Spark, Coin, Carvana, In Phase, and then we're going to see on the trades that they actually closed out HUT for 1 cent per share. Not understanding why on some of these they paid to close them out versus letting them expire worthless. But this one, they paid 1 cent a share for HUT 8. And then LabU, they paid 2 cents a share. And then MicroStrategy, 3 cents a share. And then I guess I did not finish going through these because I got hung up on those there. But that means Mara expired worthless. I went to do the ones that did by share and didn't finish. But we can see that Solar Edge expired worthless, SMCI, Viking Therapeutics, VRT, and Wayfair. And so the way we can see this is because you see all of these have the expiration date of the 12th on them. So if we don't have a trade, assuming that they don't have to do a correction of the trades later, and I just don't see the copy of that after the fact. But if we don't have a trade there, then all we can do is assume that these closed out worthless. So you can see it did pretty good on all of these. And honestly, the ones that they did pay to close, they were at 1, 2, and 3 cents. It wasn't totally necessary on some of these, but obviously they have a reason for it. So we'll look at that here. So we have eHang here. Now this one, they actually closed out. Now this one doesn't expire until next week, but they closed out some. That's why this is highlighted in pink here, is that some of these were closed out, but not all of them, which then makes me wonder why, you know what I'm saying? Because if you're just going to close it out, why don't you close all of them out? So I'm not sure, but you can see they went ahead and closed some of these out at 10 and 11 cents. And all, they still made $80,000 based on the data received here for those trades. Now, as far as those that expired on Friday, we have 3 of those here. So you see HUT 8 here. The strike price was $10. They were $8 the day before. They closed out at $7.72. Oh, I see. But okay, I can see why maybe they'd want to do it here. But I don't know why they didn't hold it later. I don't know. I probably would have, because if you look over here, they paid $611,000 to close this out. And HUT 8 and Bitcoin, but I don't know. Maybe it's just the business itself and how it's actually going to be reflected when Bitcoin goes higher. And that maybe this one won't go higher. But anyway, so they paid to close out the short call, I guess because they wanted to close out the synthetic. Because they could have just let the short call expire worthless, then they would have had the synthetic still. But if they want to close out the synthetics, then they need to close out the short call. So now that I'm talking this out, I can see that. And the only reason I could think they would want to close out the synthetic at this point, because it's a $10 strike price and they're at $7.72, is if they think that this is going to keep going down, right? And then the debt would just get worse and worse and worse. But 1, I feel like Friday was the worst day to do that. 2, I don't know. Is HUT 8 going to go down? I personally don't have the knowledge, that kind of knowledge to know. But anyway, so because they did that, you can see here for that last one there, which is our put, and it was below the strike price by 23%. that it cost them $717,000 to close that out. And then, of course, they closed out the short call, so a penny a piece, but then they received a little bit of premium for closing out that longer synthetic call, which was 44 cents a share. So it offset it just a little bit. So that's why this one's showing closed out altogether. Now, if we go to Lab U, I guess they could have wanted to do the similar thing here. Maybe they wanted to close out of the synthetic, which is why they paid to close out the short call versus allowing it to expire worthless, because then they wouldn't be able to close out the synthetic until Monday, which I don't know. I feel Friday was an extremely red day to be the day to choose to do that. But anyway, moving on, you can see here that the strike price was 120. The stock was 104, so that was good for the short call, which is why we didn't pay much to close it out. But it's not good for the synthetic or long position here, because you want that stock price to be above the strike price, and in this case it wasn't. It was below it by 9%. So again, if they're expecting that this will keep going down and not be able to recover, in order to, they want to close it out sooner rather than later, because the cost will just keep going up that they'll have to pay. And you've seen that recently in AIYY, how the stock price kept going down, so the bigger the debt ends up being. But anyway, so you can see over here, of course, overall, they paid out a total of $260,000, but you can see the breakdown on the right. Now, the reason I have this one colored at 197 in red, it's not because the other pinks, which were partial, it's because it's because there was more stocks than that. So if you see Lab U here, it shows closing out 197. But that left them 16 contracts. So just, doing this for a minute, I assume here that they got assigned for 16. However, usually when they're assigned, then it'll show on the trades that they bought those shares. So it doesn't, but I can only assume, because again, those already expired, so why would we keep them on our holdings going into the next week? So same thing here with the MicroStrategy one. If we go into that, they had a short call that expired on Friday, and what they did, they rolled that to the next week for April 19th from a strike price of $1,700 down to $1,600. And at the time, we were currently, at the close of Friday, we were 8% underneath that. Now, this was for 15 contracts, but again, if you look at our holdings, they closed out, well, they rolled the 15, but they left 3. So again, it doesn't make sense to just let them expire worthless. They wouldn't have, because they're still here. So yeah, that goes back to what I was saying on the other one. Then maybe they were assigned, but when they've been doing that in the past, I think they were also closing out the synthetic with that, and maybe not when they're assigned. We'll see, because again, the share does not show that there were trades purchasing the underlying. So anyway, if you watch the roundup, that's why I said, we have these trades, but then I have questions based on looking at the actual numbers. So if we go over to the holdings, and we'll just go over this sheet real quick, we can see that the stock ended up dropping 78 cents, because again, it was an extremely red day. The the S&P was down $1.46 or 1.46%. So ULTY ended up being down 4.35%. And then you can see our outstanding shares have increased significantly. I don't know why this is 21. We did have 20. And then we gained 2. Oh, Then it was 22, and then Hut 8 has fallen off. So 21 would be correct, sorry. But I think we were about 3.1 million the day before, and now we're there. So we've increased our number of shares. You can see here right now, if we're looking at the short call all trades, we've earned 48 cents a share. If we're just looking at the premium received on those short calls, we're looking at $1.24 a share. So if we go over the holdings themselves here, we can see Biohaven short call doesn't expire till next week. So it has a strike price of $60, and we're currently under that by 12%. It did end up dropping 1% on Friday. Clean Spark Coin and Carvana, all of theirs must have been some of those that expired worthless. So we'll see Monday if they close out of any of these altogether, or if they will buy short calls to go with those. But we can see, let's see what we had. Clean Spark Coin and Carvana, they went down 6, 7, and 7% there on Friday. Oop. Oh my goodness. Okay, I guess I did this with my finger versus the pen. Then we have eHang here. This was the one I had highlighted. I don't know why. They went ahead and closed these, the short call. Well, not closed, but they, I guess closed 96 of the short call, 96 contracts. You know what, now that I look at that, I'm sorry, I didn't go back and actually add these together. So it's just adding the one line here, 96. It's not adding both of those together. So it should be 1,137. So they did close out that, but when they did that, they left 97. So I just thought that was odd that they left 97 if they were going to close it out. Yeah, I would have thought they would have just closed all of them out, so not sure why they left some here. But there's eHang, and it dropped 9% today, or yesterday on Friday. In phase here, it must have expired worthless. We don't have a short call with that. And then we have GigaCloud Technology has a short call that expires next week with a $40 strike, and we're currently 21% underneath that strike, and the stock did drop by 6%. Intracellular Technology, I think it was. Intracellular Therapies. Sorry, I got close. Intracellular Therapies. Their short call expires next Friday with a strike price of $75. Currently 12% below that, and the stock did drop on 3% on Friday. LabU, so this is one that I don't know. I can only assume that they got assigned on this one or something, or they put the number on there wrong. I really don't know. But they closed out of 197, but there's 16 left here. So not sure if those 16 are assigned or if this is a typo or what. But you see it did expire on Friday. If we go down, Mara must have expired worthless. We're currently 19% underneath that synthetic, but we have a month to go. It dropped 8% just on Friday itself. So My Medicine, 2 short calls that expired next week. Strike prices of 11 and 12. Currently underneath those by 12 and 19%, and the stock dropped by 6% on Friday. MicroStrategy here. So they closed out 15 of the short calls that expired on Friday, again leaving 3. So not sure if this is because they were assigned or again if there was a typo, since there were no buying of the underlying trades listed. And the stock itself did drop 5% on Friday. So that's it for the trades there. So we'll just stay here now. So NanoX Imaging has a short call that expires next week at $12.50. Currently 22% below that, and the stock dropped 8% on Friday. Root, short call that expires next Friday with a strike price of $85. We're currently 21% below that. The stock went up 2% on Friday. Run has a short call. I think this is Sunrun. Yeah. Sunrun has a short call that expires next Friday with a strike price of $12.50, and we're currently 7% below that strike price, and the stock dropped by 2% on Friday. The rest of these, till we get down to Wolf, you have Run. We have Solar Edge, SMCI, Viking Therapeutics, VRT, and Wayfair. All of theirs must have expired there because we don't have any short calls, but we have these synthetics that go with them. If we go down to Wolf Speed, their short call expires next Friday with a short call strike price of $29 with currently 9% under that, and the stock dropped 6% on Friday. So just did that real quick, and then we have our summary here, and honestly I didn't even look at this. For some reason the current IV is not pulling over for Nano X, and then I should have, oh nope, undo, that doesn't matter, clear that, and then paste that. Oh, I guess this is not wanting to come over, and I did all of it and there's no issues, but the ranking's still not coming across. So not sure why MicroStrategy staying blank here. But this is where we stand if you want to see this data as far as the holdings market value, the weighting, the date they were added, the initial IB and the current IB, and then the ranking column. I'm not sure why it's not working there. If you want to see the where we at by the market value and the weightings by sector there, wow, information technology is market value is negative 1.2 million, or negative 2% of the portfolio. Should do this. I did not add this to the bottom either, but yeah, you can see here we jumped 275,000 shares and about 2.4 million in net assets between the between Thursday and Friday. But last thing over here is just a reminder that Monday we will receive a lot of premium for all the trades that will be made on Monday to set us up for the week. And then Tuesday will be the declaration date for the fund of funds, which includes ULTY. And then Wednesday is the ex-dividend date. So if you're wanting the dividend or the distribution, you have to have purchased it by the end of April 16th. That includes post-market till 8 p.m. If you buy on the ex-dividend date pre-market, you will not receive the dividend. Just because that question was asked recently. So just want to let you know there. And payment date will be the 19th of April. So anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed and got something useful out of the video. As a reminder, there is a daily roundup if you don't want to see this much detail. And then as requested, I did a separate video talking about the distribution. Anyway, I hope y'all have a great weekend. I'll talk to y'all next week. Bye.